Are you ready for humanoid robotics? Let's find out. I'm here with Damien Shelton, president of Agility Robotics. Welcome, Damien.
Thanks.
So tell me, what is going on with humanoid robotics right now?
Yeah. Well, it's been a long road for the whole industry, but I think the premise of humanoids that really differentiates them from a lot of different automation technologies is it actually takes nothing to prepare for humanoid robotics, right? It's the same sort of brownfield infrastructure that humans already work in. So it's a way of really meeting the labor gap that a lot of industries are experiencing, including logistics, as a way of sort of having the robots, no pun intended, walk into the existing workflows that you have. Doesn't require any modification to the environment.
Right, so let's just be very clear what we're talking about.
Sure.
Tell me, what is a humanoid robot?
Well, I would say there's no real consensus, surprisingly. So generally, it's things that have 2 legs, 2 arms. There's a lot of debate around hands right now. So do you have to have 5 fingers? We and a lot of others would actually argue no, that a lot of the ways that people interact with stuff in a workplace already doesn't require direct hands-on manipulation. So I think the hands are a bit more of an open question. Whether a head exists on the robot, a little bit of an open question, but generally 2 arms, 2 legs.
2 arms, 2 legs. Damien, tell me, what have you learned about human and robot interaction, whether with humanoid ones or regular robots?
Sure. People don't like to be surprised. So if you can't tell that a robot's turned on, if you can't tell what it's about to do, or even worse, if you can't tell whether it's safe to be around the robot, all of those are sort of bad things. It's interesting, actually, that we're comfortable being around forklifts, right? Forklifts are terrifying. Like, it's super strong, it has tines on the front of it, but very few of us would actually worry that we don't understand what they're about to do. You can kind of get a sense of the direction they're going. We know about how fast they operate. And whenever you see a show like Modex being set up, it's fascinating how comfortable people are around automation technology. So the goal of human-robot interaction generally is to get people as comfortable around robots as they are around other pieces of automation. Do
you think maybe them being humanoid makes them more disconcerting?
I think for some people, yes, and for some people, no. There's a lot that you can infer via a social cue from a humanoid. So, you might have a head that gives you an indication of, well, here's where you look. Like if I look at a forklift, I don't know, like, where is the safety indicator? A lot of work that we've seen, here and other shows in the last 5-10 years, we'll start to project graphics down on the floor so you have more of a cue of what's going on. With the humanoid form factor, there's actually more of that built into the body language of the robot. So I would say it depends on who you ask. I think humanoids have a good potential to be less unhuman than other technologies, but it requires thoughtful design.
Interesting. So where are we going with all this? What's the future of humanoid robotics?
Well, just in the last, I would say 24 months, but I think I'm wrong. I think it's the last 18 months with the modern generative AI, starting with DALL-E and then ChatGPT and then the whole huge explosion. I think where that's really created a lot of potential value add is shortening the deployment time for automation more generally, but for humanoids specifically. So the ability to say, even at this point, I have a robotics background, but I'm not qualified to program robots anymore. But I can describe a thing that I might like a robot to do, and using a modern generative AI, that can be then turned into code or turned into an instruction set for a robot that will dramatically shorten the deployment time. So I think that's something that we're really excited about seeing happen over the next couple of years.
Are we going to see warehouses manned entirely by humanoid robots?
I doubt it. It's always a question of the right tool for the right job. Coming back to the forklift example, you wouldn't have a self-driving forklift being driven by a humanoid robot, right? You would just make the forklift self-driving. And similarly, for things that require very high load capacity, there are other geometries. Things with wheels are in general better than humanoids for very high load capacity.
Instead of humans.
I mean, that is certainly not what has happened over the last 15 years of robots being deployed. So I think Amazon bought Kiva, if I'm remembering right, 2012? But Kiva had been around a couple of years before that. And over that period where, Amazon announced last fall that they had 750,000 Kiva robots deployed. In that same period, they, I think, 20x'd their workforce. So not only has there not been job loss associated with robots, it's actually the reverse. There's been enormous job creation. So I would be very surprised if we saw, in general, lights out warehouses as a trend. I think what you'll see is a lot more collaboration between people and robots, but expecting it to be one or the other is just not how it's played out historically with automation.
Damien, would you like to tell us a little bit about Agility?
Sure. So Agility's been around since 2015, so we've been at this a while. We've gone through a number of different generations of walking robot, and our newest robot, Digit version 4, numbering scheme's a little weird, but we're on version 4 of it. We had it at ProMat last year, then the upgraded version of it with our second generation gripper. We're showing off for the first time here at MODEX. We also unveiled our new cloud management platform, Agility Arc, which allows you to do fleet management of humanoids, and showing multiple jobs being done by the robot. Right now we're very focused on manipulation of totes, both in a logistics and a manufacturing capacity. Totes have some nice characteristics. There's a limited number of different geometries, and it makes it a little bit easier for the robot to interact. But these are also workflows right now that are done with people gluing together other automation solutions that don't directly connect. So Digit can interact with existing automation solutions and step into workflows that were really designed around a person.
Great, thank you so much.
Sure.
I've been talking about humanoid robots with Damien Shelton from Agility. Thank you for watching.